Hello, this is Monica Reinagel. Welcome to the Nutrition Diva podcast. Perhaps you saw the headlines last week about a new analysis finding that people who consume a lot of fiber are significantly less likely to die from heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, and colon cancer. How could such a frumpy nutrient make such a big difference in our health? After all, fiber is, by definition, indigestible by humans. It provides no vitamins, minerals, or energy, and yet fiber intake is consistently linked with lower disease risk. I think there are a number of possible explanations. First, fiber has a very charming habit of helping to take out the trash. Insoluble fiber acts as a sort of broom, sweeping waste material out of the large intestine and lowering the risk of colon cancer. Soluble fiber, on the other hand, acts more like a sponge, sopping up cholesterol, thereby lowering the risk of heart disease. Secondly, although fiber is not digestible by humans, it does provide a lot of good nutrition for the beneficial bacteria that live in our intestines. Diets that are higher in fiber tend to give rise to a more robust and varied population of intestinal bacteria. These little beasties, we are learning, influence our health in a wide variety of ways, affecting everything from appetite to immune function, metabolism, and even our mood. Thirdly, foods that are high in fiber are often high in other nutrients as well, such as antioxidants, phytosterols, lignans, and minerals. If your diet is high in fiber, and you're getting most of that fiber from whole foods, then the chances are good that your diet is high in a variety of disease-fighting nutrients. And finally, your risk of heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, colon cancer, and many other diseases is lower when you are not overweight. Fiber can play a positive role in weight loss and weight management, and that could also help explain why people who eat more fiber have a lower disease risk. But the role of fiber in weight loss is often misunderstood. Take, for example, this email I recently received from Bill. He wrote, "If I eat a high-fat meal, I sometimes follow it immediately with a bowl of very high-fiber cereal, thinking that this fiber will help compensate for the high-fat intake or otherwise bad food choices that I made. Does this strategy make sense? Should fiber be thought of as a way to discount other food choices you make?" You know, Bill, there's an old saying that if you find yourself in a ditch, the first thing you should do is stop digging. And similarly, if you're in a situation where you've overeaten, eating more is rarely your best move. Eating fiber or taking fiber supplements won't cancel out calories that you've already eaten. If you chase a high-calorie or a high-fat meal with a bowl of high-fiber cereal, you're just adding yet more calories to what you've already eaten and increasing the load on your digestive system. Now, it is true that meals that are higher in fiber may cause a more moderate rise in blood sugar than meals that are low in fiber. But adding the fiber after the fact is probably not a terribly effective strategy. If you've overeaten, or even if you haven't, a better plan for reducing the impact of a meal on your blood sugar is to head out for a walk. So, how does fiber help with weight loss or weight management? Well, despite the fact that it contains no calories, fiber takes up a lot of room in your stomach, and that can help you feel fuller on fewer calories. High-fiber foods also generally take longer to eat and chew, and that may help you take in fewer calories per sitting. And finally, higher fiber foods take longer to digest, and that means that you don't get hungry again as quickly. Now, all of this can make it easier to eat less and maintain a lower weight without feeling hungry all the time. Now, secondly, as I mentioned before, fiber also feeds the beneficial bacteria in our gut, shaping that population in ways that seems to be linked to a lower body weight. And this is due to complex and still poorly understood interactions between our gut bacteria and our hormones and metabolism. So, which foods are higher in fiber? Well, you won't find any fiber in animal foods. Eggs, dairy, meat, and fish are all good sources of protein, but they are fiber-free. Dietary fiber comes exclusively from plant foods, especially legumes and whole grains, but also nuts, seeds, fruits, and vegetables. And I have a link in the show notes to my fiber cheat sheet that shows you how much fiber is in various common foods. But the best way to leverage the benefits of fiber is not to add high fiber foods or supplements to an unhealthy diet. The trick here is to choose higher fiber foods as alternatives to less healthy options at least some of the time. For example, you might opt for black bean or split pea soup instead of ramen or tomato soup. Choose a whole grain pilaf instead of a dinner roll. Spread your toast with peanut butter or almond butter instead of butter and jelly. And Bill, the time to eat that high fiber cereal is not after a high fat dinner, but instead of that breakfast pastry. For more ways to increase your fiber without blowing your calorie budget, you might also be interested in my episode on fiber density. And I also have an episode in the archives on how to eat less without feeling hungry. You'll find links to those podcasts in the transcript for today's show, which is at nutritiondiva.quickanddirtytips.com. If you have a nutrition or a food question that you'd like me to answer, you'll find me on Facebook or Twitter. I'm at Nutrition Diva, or leave me a voicemail at 443-961-8206. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for listening and have a great week.